Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Landedkiller show. Today, we're going to be doing a review on Siegfried here. So let me make sure that everything's going correct on my recording. Yes, it is. All right, here we go. We're gonna just take Siegfried out into. What am I doing? I'm doing things out of order. All right, we're gonna go through armor layout first. I'm sorry, guys, that I don't have Ragnarok ready to go for you. I haven't been able to grind enough credits yet. When I get the credits ground, then I'll go through there. Okay. So on the deck, we have some 27mm plating here. We have our turret face right here. We have a frontal plate of 360mm, a side plating of 220, and a small section of 150, and a bottom mount 150. Barbette armor 180. Top of turret is 130, and we have a section of 150 here and a section 150 here. Our barbette is 180 all around. Our superstructure is 16mm here and here. So this is going to be where you get hit with high explosive shells a lot. Your deck is 30mm right here, which is nice. So if they have IFHE, then they'll be able to get you. But without IFHE, they shouldn't be able to get you. At least for cruiser-wise. Okay, let's see what our conning tower looks like. Conning tower front face is 200mm. Top is 80. Side is 200. Turret has the same armor thickness, 360, 150, 130. Back of the deck is 27mm. Bottom is 40mm. We have a small section right here, a weak point right here in the middle of the deck that's 30mm right here. So if you're shooting the ship right here, that's an easy weak point. 90mm armor belt. We have a section of 190 armor strip here, 190 there, and then the side plating is 27mm. Now we're going to take off the armor and take a look at what's underneath. So let's look at our barbettes. So our barbettes are 113 all the way around, 145, 145. For some reason, the back barbette is weaker than the front barbettes at 113. I don't know why they did that. Seems kind of odd. We got this middle section of 180, bottom section 145, 145. Our front Citadel warship is 100 meters. Bottom Citadel at the warship is 30mm. On the back Citadel warship is 100. And you have a 30mm section right there. Citadel torpedo bulkhead is 60mm. Citadel torpedo bulkhead right here is 45. The top is 60mm all the way through, which is nice. You have Citadel bottom of 40 right here. So your Citadel sits just a little bit above the water, as you can see here. So when trying to take down a Siegfried, obviously you want to aim about this point here. Survivability. Survivability is 62,850 hit points. Torpedo damage reduction is 37%, which is kind of nice. Artillery is 3x2 380mm caliber guns, which are normally found on a battleship. This is a cruiser, so this is what makes it stand out. Our reload time is 22.9 seconds on the main battery guns. Our 180-degree turn time is 36 seconds. High explosive shell damage is 4,400 damage. Penetration 95mm. Armor piercing shell obviously is 11,600. Maximum range 20.6. Velocity is 820 meters per second. HE shell velocity is 820 meters per second. Secondaries used to be a strong point in the ship, no longer, because cruisers don't really have a secondary focus skill at all. So like I said, secondaries used to be a strong point on the ship. They're no longer a strong point because of the changes on the ship that have occurred over time, especially with the captain skill rework, which took place several months ago at this point. Our main battery firing range is 20.6 kilometers. Torpedoes 2x4, 533 millimeter at 6 kilometers, 65 knots. So those torps are pretty fast for a cruiser. They're due about 13,700 damage. Detectability by sea 1.3 kilometers. So don't rely on these unless you're really into close quarter engagement. Perhaps people won't know the torpedo range and you get away with firing them off to discourage enemies. And you got an airstrike to fight off submarines with. You get 2 flights, 2 aircraft in the attacking flight. Aircraft HP is 2,000. Number of bombs and payload is 6. Maximum damage 2,100. Maximum range 5 kilometers. Reload time 90 seconds. AA defense 6 kilometers, which is nice. It'll help you against skip bombers a little bit. Got a lot of Bolbitas running around on the seas these days. AA guns, it's good for short range. Then we got a good amount of medium range, and then longer range you got these guys. Continuous damage 331, damage for cell explosions 1,540. Priority sector reinforcement is 50%, which is nice. So your AA is kind of average for this tier. Your maneuverability is a nice 35.2 knots. Your turning circle radius is 880 meters. Rudder shift time is 8.4 seconds with the equipment I have on it currently. Detectability by sea goes from 15.2 when it's on fire, 13.8 kilometers when firing in smoke, 20.6 when firing a main gun shell. Detectability by depth 0 to 9.7 kilometers. Detectability by air 12.7 to 17.3 depending on the circumstance, or otherwise your average is 9.7 if you don't fire your guns off. 13.8 kilometers for aircraft if you fire off your guns, otherwise it's 2 kilometers pretty much when you get detected. Skills. This is the important part, of course. I have greased the gears because I want those turns to turn at a good rate. I have priority target. I have Adrenaline Rush, Superintendent, and Concealment Expert. Next skill I'm probably going to get is probably this top grade Gunner or Outnumbered. I think I might lean toward Outnumbered. That shell dispersion bonus is really helpful. I guess you can get away with equipping heavy AP shells, but I think that Adrenaline Rush is more effective than that. What's the point of having 5% damage when you can have a reload buff on all of your armaments instead? Ignore these torpedo skills. You don't need them. This skill, probably a good one to have. I'm probably going to get in the future. In fact, you know, why don't we get that now? Because you're often having to switch your armament as a cruiser. Alright, now we'll take a look at equipment. So I have main battery modification 3 because I want my reload time down. I know it increases my traverse speed, but I don't mind it. Then I have steering gears modification 2 because I believe I'm a skilled enough captain to dodge incoming fire. Obviously, the main one you're going to want to equip most of the time is concealment system modification 1 if you're a new player. But considering the cost to get Siegfried, I think you'll be experienced enough to try either build. Ignore this and ignore this. There's no point in getting either of those on the ship. It's not worth it. And I have... Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So I have damage control system modification 2. Because this is a heavy cruiser and it takes the full fire penalty of 60 seconds, but with this it cuts it down to 45 seconds. For this, you can make the argument to do steering gears modification 1, and then in this slot we go concealment system modification 1 to balance it out. And then for my third slot I have aiming system modification 1. Ignore torpedo 2's modification 1, it's not worth it in the ship. AA modification 1. Only if you really want to spec out your AA. Otherwise, you're better off taking main battery for modification 2 if you're not going to take aiming systems modification 1. But I feel like aiming systems modification 1 is more priority on the ship just because it helps you survive a little longer. And then I have damage control system modification 1 on the ship to help with the damage. Help with the damage you take, because you're going to take a lot of fire damage in the ship. Help with survivability. You can make the argument to get hydroacoustic search modification 1 because you have a lot of submarines in the game, but that's only going to increase your duration on your hydroacoustic search by about 20%, which will add about, let's see here, 10% of 1 is 12, so add another 24 seconds onto that. Main armaments modification 1 I have on here. You can make the argument to stick spotting aircraft modification 1 on the ship if you'd like, but I don't really see the benefit in this. I feel like I'm better off protecting the main guns because there's only 6 of them. That's just me. But you can make the argument to equip this on damage control party modification 1. Not really a thing I would equip on this ship. It's not really worth it. It's more worth it to do your spotting aircraft modification 1 or main armaments modification 1. Alright, we're going to quickly glance through these stats again. Now we're going to go on to consumables. So you have cruiser heal there pretty much. But that reload time on the heal is pretty good. It's 76 seconds. You get 4 charges. 3 charges base, 4 with the consumable I have. Spotting aircraft, 4 charges base, 5 with what I have. You also can equip fighters. Get 1 charge less of the fighters. I wouldn't equip it. There's no point. You're better off increasing your range of spotting aircraft. You're going to be facing a lot of ships from long range at this tier. Then I would equip hydroacoustic search over defensive AA because look at this. 6 kilometers on the detection of ships, so yeah. FAA I feel like has lost its effectiveness lately. Then you have damage control party that's reloads in 57 seconds, consumable action time 5 seconds. Without further ado, let's get Siegfried into battle here. So Siegfried is a Type O cruiser. Basically, think of like Raph's Bay, upgraded to tier 9 with an extra turret on it and a higher caliber. Or better yet, think of a gear. This is basically like a gear with different guns, but its stats are actually more stronger than a gear's. The cost for getting a Research Bureau ship is high. It should be an endeavor that you take seriously because you have to reset like 5 lines in order to get it. So we're looking here, you'll see that the cost for Siegfried is 47,000 Research Bureau points. So you're going to have to reset lines at least 5 or 6 times to get it. I have my standard flags equipped. So without further ado, let's get into some battle here. I again will stress the cost of getting a Research Bureau ship. I find that the cost is up there. And honestly, I wish that Wargaming would add Research Bureau points in for the Snowflake event at some point in the future. Like, let them be earned alongside like coal or steel. Even if it's a small amount like 20, because I feel like the cost is high to get the Research Bureau going because you have to reset at least 5 or 6 lines sometimes. You do get that double bonus of Research Bureau points about every 3 months, I want to say. I just feel that the cost is high to get a Research Bureau ship. So I'm probably only going to get one once a year. Just because I don't feel like grinding lines over and over again. So I chose to redo the Russian cruiser line and the French cruiser line twice. Then I also popped the German cruiser line too. I also reset that. But keep in mind I had 12,000 Research Bureau points saved up from past events. Because you can slowly earn Research Bureau points around 400 in a chain of daily missions every month usually. So keep that in mind too. The costs for Research Bureau ships are up there. So definitely take your time to consider which Research Bureau ship you want. I know a popular choice is Ohio right now. I chose to get Siegfried because I had more of a taste in German ships, especially the German cruisers. I probably would make Ohio my second Research Bureau ship if I really wanted to commit a ton of time to the game. As you know, the game's kind of on rocky ground at the moment with all the recent changes, so I haven't been playing as much as I used to. But hopefully I can get a Ragnarok review out for you guys sometime this week. Let's get these AP shells fired off, shall we? See that our shell grouping is pretty tight. So you kind of have a little bit of that Raspberry dispersion on this ship, which is nice. So you will hit targets if you aim them accurately. This ship really depends on your aim because it only has 6 guns. So you have to be wary of your surroundings on the map. There's just not a lot of submarines out because the rental period just ended for the submarines and they have to re-earn the submarines again, so that's why we're not seeing a lot of submarines out here. I believe the ship's strong point is arguably the high caliber of the guns. That's a really strong point. And then another strong point is its good health pool here as well. You just have to be wary of which engagements you take part in this ship. That's important. You have to choose your engagements wisely because battleships will tear you up. You can't be going YOLOing in this cruiser like you can with Palio Emilio. Find that the ship performs best at mid-range, where it can get in some good shots without losing too much accuracy. And you won't be getting hit too much by a lot of battleship fire. Don't go super close up on the ship unless you're like the last ship or something and you're facing another cruiser. If you're facing a battleship, keep your distance. If you're facing a destroyer, definitely keep your distance because those are glass cannons that can take you out easily. It's taken me a long time to get this ship, no joke. I was waiting to regrind the Research Bureau for a long time, and I finally was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get through this. No, and that's why I created the video. Finally got Siegfried because I was like, yay! I finally got this ship, and it's taken me such a long time. Cost is no joke with these Research Bureau ships. Unless you're sitting on a massive pile of credits and free XP, it's gonna take you a bit. You know? The costs are up there for this ship, and you should really think about what ship you want, whether you're going to play Clan Wars or not, because I know a lot of clan leaders will probably want you to grab Ohio or Palio Emilio, depending on your skill level. There's not really that many Tier 9 clan battles from what I understand. The Tier 10s come more often than the Tier 9 battles from what I understand. So... But is this ship worth it over a gear? Most definitely. If you can take the time to grind out the line, technically you can get the ship for free if you put in a lot of effort. That's really on your end if you want to take time or money to pay for the cost of the ship. Because technically, like coal, you can earn the Research Bureau points, but it's going to take you a long time to do so. It's not going to come right away. It's going to take you a while to earn the credits. That's something I want to stress with this ship. It does take a while to earn those Research Bureau points. They don't just come instantly. You have to grind the whole line from Tier 1 to Tier 10 again every time you do a line reset. These ships are not something you just decide in one night that you're going to get. You take your time to decide on the ship because it's a big commitment to get a ship like this. Because these ships take time to get. They're not something you're going to get in just one days of play. It's going to take you several weeks. It's going to take you a couple weeks to get there. It's not going to be overnight. Hope people know that. That's important. You can't really predict the requirements for earning free XP are basically set up to encourage you to free XP, which can be both a good thing and a bad thing depending on how you play the game. Of course, I being the person I am, I took a combination of both methods. I converted some free XP and I ground out some of the lines. So I kind of did a combination of both. It's kind of how I've been. Is I like to do a combination of a little bit of money and a little bit of time put in, because that's how I gauge whether to get a ship or not, is by the time it takes to get it. Obviously, you're not gonna sit there and just get the ship just because you want it. You want to decide to get it because it's in your objectives for your clan, or I guess you just really like German cruisers, because most people will probably recommend that you go grab the Palio, Emilio, or Ohio. So that's just what most people, from what I've noticed, grab the ship. So keep in mind that your performance may vary in this ship. It just really depends on your skill level. You know, these ships take some skill to pull off some good damage. And you should keep in mind that Wargame is going to be messing with the service costs on a lot of things, I presume, soon, because they mentioned a rebalancing of economy. And you got to deal with the super ships. I'm not sure how super ships are going to work with Research Bureau. That's going to be a question that needs to be answered sooner rather than later by Wargaming. Right now, I think I can show you the German cruisers. Yeah, so you can see that on the cruisers, I believe it's the same point value for cruisers, battleships, and destroyers. 6,000 a tier X. It's obviously going to be double that if you do a line reset during a 2X event. So you get 12,000 versus 6,000 if you had the double X. If you had 2X, which you get every 3 months. You see that tier 9 is 1,500. Tier 7 is 1,500. Tier 8 is 15,000. Tier 7 is 500. I believe Tier 6 is around 400, and then the Tier 5 is 200 from what I remember. But yeah, it just takes time to grind out this Research Bureau, and it's not going to be done overnight. This is a commitment that you'll have to take to get these ships, whether you choose to do free XP or put more time in. It is going to take some time. So take that into account when getting these ships. And this is based off the Type O design, pretty much, with Genesau guns, but more accurate. So this is a 47,000 Research Bureau ship, so keep that in mind. And I hope you guys enjoyed this review of Siegfried. I'm going to try to get a Ragnarok review out there once I get full equipment put on Ragnarok. I took Ragnarok on a match today, and I just did not get good results, so I'm going to have to take my time to get to know the ship a little more, then I'll do a review on it. So until next time, please remember to support Team C's. Support them, donate some money to Spackman, Mr. Beast, and Mark Rober, and don't forget to like, watch, and subscribe to the video and to the side channels. I appreciate all your guys' support, and give me feedback in the comments on how I can improve my videos. I appreciate all the feedback, and I'm always reading through those comments, always. So take care. See you on the next one.